Ready for a trip halfway across the globe. Today, we're diving into Excel International Schools in Nigeria.
Yeah, they're based in Owerri, Imo State, to be exact. Might
Mhm.
not be on everyone's radar, and that's what makes this interesting, right?
Totally. And they've got this brochure kind of vibe talking about their mission and all that. But we're going beyond the glossy pages here.
Digging deeper, because that's what we do.
Absolutely. So, first thing that jumps out, at least at me, is this whole alphabet soup of acronyms WAEC, NICO, BCE. Feels a bit like they're trying to check all the boxes.
It's like a checklist. But for someone who's not knee-deep in the Nigerian education systems, like, what does this even mean?
Right. Like, congratulations, you have all the abbreviations. But what do these exams actually tell us about what students are learning and, more importantly, where they can go afterwards?
So, think of it this way. WAEC and NECO, those are your bread and butter if you want to get into a Nigerian university.
Yeah.
They're essential. It's like their version of, say, A-levels or the SATs, depending on where our listeners are coming from.
Okay, so those are locally important, but then there's this BECE thing, right? What's the deal with that one?
BCE is where it gets interesting. That's the one that opens doors internationally. You see, a lot of universities, especially in places like the UK, Canada, even the US, they recognize BEC as a sign of a good academic foundation. So Excel, having that in their little acronym collection, means they're not just aiming for their students to excel in Nigeria, they're thinking global.
Interesting. So it's like they're trying to bridge that gap between local standards and those global expectations.
Just-
Okay, but it's not just about exams, right? Because they keep hammering this holistic development thing, shaping well-rounded individuals, all that jazz. We hear it a lot, but what makes Excel different?
And this is where I think they do a decent job, at least based on what they're presenting. They could have just left it as a buzzword, right? But they actually give us some specifics.
Give me the details.
They talk about sports, which, okay, pretty standard. But they also highlight arts programs, and not just any arts program. Think visual arts that are rooted in Nigerian traditions, music that resonates with the local culture. It's not just about ticking boxes. It's about connecting learning to their identity.
Oh, I like that, tying it back to their roots.
Exactly. And then there's leadership training, which, let's be honest, takes on a whole new meaning in a region that's navigating, complex social and political dynamics.
For sure. Not just leadership for the sake of leadership, but leadership in a very specific and challenging context. Okay, so they're weaving all these elements into the mix. Makes you wonder what a typical day at Excel actually looks and feels like, right?
Right. And, another thing they boast about, which I found kind of curious, is their modern facilities.
Yeah.
Science labs, ICT suites.
Yeah, they really emphasize those, almost like it's something unique.
That's the thing, is it unique? See, in many parts of Nigeria, even getting access to basic educational resources is tough. So when Excel highlights their modern facilities, are they just meeting a standard, or are they trying to set a new one?
It's all relative, right?
Exactly. So maybe they're trying to attract students who are looking for an experience that rivals what they'd get in, say, a more developed country.
Mhm.
Makes you wonder, are they raising the bar?
Oh, interesting. Okay, so they're potentially ahead of the curve in that sense. But they also seem really, really focused on academic results. High academic standards. Excellent performance. It's practically in every other sentence. Makes you wonder, is it all work and no play at Excel? Or is there, like, a balance?
And this is where we circle back to their whole holistic development thing, right?
Yeah.
Because it makes you think, maybe those impressive exam results aren't just from, like, rote learning.
Maybe it's more organic than that.
Right. Perhaps it's a byproduct of this well-rounded approach. A student who's engaged in arts, involved in sports, they're likely to be more engaged in the classroom, too, more disciplined, and ultimately more successful, even academically.
It's that whole idea of a healthy mind and a healthy body, right?
Exactly.
You know what else I noticed? Just a small thing, but it caught my eye. On their website, they had this big, happy resumption announcement for the new school year. It just, I don't know, it felt very human, very real.
It's those little things,
Yeah.
because we can get so caught up in analyzing their approach and their curriculum that we forget there are actual students behind all of this, right?
Absolutely.
And happy resumption. For them, it means a fresh start, another year to learn and grow.
A chance to dive back into those modern facilities. And
Exactly. And it's a good reminder that the academic calendar in Nigeria might be different. The school year often aligns with the calendar year beginning in September. So this resumption gives us a glimpse into a different rhythm of education.
So what do we have here? A school that's trying to walk this tightrope between local relevance and global aspirations. They're promising a well-rounded education, but not shying away from academic rigor.
And they're doing it all against a backdrop that's anything but ordinary.
It's easy to be cynical about brochures and mission statements, but I have to say, there are some genuinely intriguing hints here about how Excel International Schools might be doing things a little differently.
Absolutely. And it leaves us with a question for everyone listening. In a world that's more interconnected than ever, is a school's ability to successfully blend the local with the global regularly the real key